Testing, testing. Hello. How's everybody doing? Oh, I can hear myself. Cool. There we go. Anyways. You can hear me good? Well, that's good. Thank you, Dark Matter. Just want to warn you guys. I've had like 4 hours of sleep. So forgive me if I'm not really hyped or anything like that. I'm dog tired. Oh, you'll see me in a second. But first, welcome back to Dirty Teddy. We're back again with another one, and this time, guys, we're going to be doing Bandmade Play from February 14th, 2020. Can't wait to react to this. I have not made a video reaction of this particular performance, so I can't wait to react to this. I know I have seen it before. I get a lot of crap for it. But yes, I have seen it before. I don't care. I'm going to react to it anyway. Guys, don't forget to subscribe, click the bell, if you like the video. That song was literally non-stop dirty lips from end to end. Dirty guitar lips. And I mean that in the most wholesome way possible. Anyways, guys, comment down below for a chance for your reaction, whatever. Comment down below. Tell me what this is about, and we'll see you guys in the next video. I lost some things. Give me just a moment, guys. Okay, can you see me now? You can see me now, right? All right. Cool. So welcome everybody. This is my thank you live stream for getting me to 15,000 subscribers, which is actually pretty unbelievable. I know a lot of you are new, and I know, yes, I'm going straight from first Ren reaction to Ren live stream, but you guys pushed me to 15,000 subscribers, so I can't thank you guys enough for that. All right, so basically, I don't really have a plan for this. This video is about 3 hours long. I didn't want to do a live music reaction because every time I do, my video gets instantly, my live stream gets taken down. YouTube does not like live reactions whatsoever, unfortunately. I have done a few in the past and have gone away with it.
Thank you for that, Nancy. I appreciate you subscribing, and thank you to the rest of you for subscribing. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to do Ren's basically his history of, not his history, but his Facebook page live videos or live streams and or videos. I'm not quite sure. I do believe this was uploaded by somebody else. To be honest, it's called Ren Not Ren. So props to him for making this video. But I'm doing this just so I can learn more about him from him. I think that's kind of important based off of all the comments I've gotten today. Yeah, again, I appreciate you guys for getting me over 15. I'm going to be doing more Ren reactions, of course, along with some other, bands and stuff like that. So check out his chapters. Yes. Well, are they? Do they have the music in it? Because if they have the music in it, then I can't react to it, fortunately. So this is basically a watch long. I'll be talking with you guys and conversing and stuff like that. And we'll just see how it goes. If it gets to a point where it's only about three. Oh, that is actually incorrect. He did copyright me. For the music of the video that I did. So he actually does copyright music. However, I will be reacting to his Facebook posts here. This video is about 3 hours long, and we'll see how it goes. If people dip out, that's fine. I understand. But I'm here to talk with you guys and listen to his videos. I already disputed it. Through YouTube, so it's fine. If they don't want to uncopyright me, then that's fine too. I'm not gonna appeal it or anything like that. I don't appeal, but I do dispute, but I don't appeal. It's okay. I'm not too worried about it. It happens. It's the life of a react. So we're gonna go ahead and get this started and stuff like that.
Every month,
and of course we got ads.
So
I apologize about that too.
And semi-passive
but
income.
I didn't have it planned, so I apologize. So yeah, you're gonna get ads every once in a while. For the past 5 years, I've been. I'm sorry, Raymond, I can't read that. Buenos noches. I'm just giving you guys time to read this. You can't read the bottom. To date, there is very little medical help available for such a misunderstood condition. This is my 60-day attempt to cure myself of ME through strict diet, positive attitude, lifestyle change, healthy living. If this can help just one person find hope, all worth it. I, for one, am not very healthy at all. I just spilled my Pepsi. This is my first live stream. Just kidding. It's not my first live stream.
So I'm gonna start a 4-day bone broth fast, which sounds pretty horrible. Like bone broth sounds like something that a troll would have. Nice vat of bones. So I'm gonna do that for 4 days. The theory behind it is that it's gonna heal my stomach, which is screwed because I react to loads of foods with ME. Very extreme. I'm going to be drinking nothing but watery bones for the next 4 days, so I could start feeling. Watery bones sounds horrible. I'm probably start feeling pretty bad. It's not great because like I'm not hugely fat, as you can see by these very skinny legs.
Dang, he's skinny as hell.
Don't have very much weight to lose, man, after this illness. But meh, gotta get better. Day 1. So I kind of found a chicken in my fridge that would have gone off if I started the challenge. Fast, whatever.
He's a lot
today.
skinnier now than he was in the video I
So I'm
reacted
going to
to.
start it tomorrow. Guten Morgen. Guten Morgen. Bonjour. Hello. I've got my bag of bones. That's what you call an old person, isn't it? A bag of bones. Yeah, so I've got my bones, and this is day 1, and not eat a whole chicken in one sitting day 1, which rhymed. This is proper, genuine day 1.
Gonna
got
eat
lots.
bones?
So enough to last me probably
Chicken
about
bones?
3 days. You could say that I've stocked up, because bones make stock. Thanks. Cheers. Thanks. Yeah, thank you.
I know he's
Morning.
not gonna eat chicken bones. Okay, I'm not that dim. I'm pretty dim, but I'm not that dim. It's got to be like slang for chicken or something.
It's morning number 2. And I have seemed to have developed like what looks like a 3rd nipple. Some sort of weird rash with a spot in the middle. Lovely.
Like an infection.
So the side effects are nipples. Be doing this. Maybe I should explain why I'm doing this. Like, when I got ME, I started reacting to loads of foods like cake, chips, like so many, all the good foods basically. I can't eat them because it makes me feel like I want to sleep for about like 20 days, or like it just makes me very depressed. I feel like I've been hit by a truck and I just have to go to bed, which sucks. So this is meant to reset my digestive system by completely giving it a break and allowing it to. So it may not help me, but it may. So we'll see. Day 2.
Never fails.
Yeah. So it's morning 3. I'm feeling pretty dizzy today.
Day
I went in the
3.
shower. Felt a little bit like I wanted to pass out, but I'm okay. One other thing is I'm pretty bloody sick of bone broth. Like, this is probably like my 20th or 30th cup. And it doesn't taste nicer with every cup, really. I could be like the poster boy for bone broth. Look, my belly button's out. Woohoo! So yeah, like
We've all had
I
one
woke
of
up in a
those.
bit of a bad mood, and last night I went to bed in a bit of a bad mood as well. Like, I think that may be to do with like my blood sugar levels dipping a bit. And one other thing that I didn't take into account was I've got to go and get my blood taken today because of like they're just checking various things with my ME and stuff. And I haven't eaten, like, it's Wednesday and I haven't eaten anything since Saturday, and I don't know if that means that I'm gonna walk out like feeling like a bloody zombie, like
Yeah, he looks very young here.
glucose.
2013.
I'm gonna be like, I don't know, like
Almost
licking
2014.
pavements, just hoping that somebody accidentally drops some sugar on the floor to get a sugar fix. Why would I do that when there's sugar in the house? Yeah, so I'm taking a few vials of blood. I don't know if that's a good idea. with how dizzy I already am, but there's only one way to find out, really. If I die, I love you all.
Only 3 comments and 5 views on this.
Hunger has officially set in. I did the stupidest thing that somebody on a fast should do, which is reading a cookbook of all these ingredients, and I was like, apple pie. Oh, you dirty apple pie. It was just so, it was like explicit. Oh, so I'm hungry. Day
Apple
3.
pie is pretty good.
I got my blood taken. I got a wickle pop on my arm. But yeah, no, I don't feel too bad. Like, I don't feel like I'm going to pass out or anything. It was actually fine. And another thing that I did as well, which was stupid, this genuinely happened to this t-shirt, which is, I like this t-shirt, it's nice. I was cooking food, and then I turned round, like I was cooking, not food, bone broth, and I turned round to talk to my friend Luke. I don't know why I had to turn around then, like, as if you don't know what turning round is. So I had to turn around to talk to my friend Luke, and basically, bone broth on the stove, caught on fire. I was like,
He caught on
smells
fire.
something burning, and then I realised that
Wow.
it was me that was burning. But I'm not 3rd degree burnt or anything. Anyway, the end of day 3. Adios, amigos. Good morning. It's day 4, morning number 4. I feel like calmer in myself, and if you'll go back to the first videos, because I was just watching over, I've noticed my face is sort of cleared up as well. Like, I had a bit of puffiness in my eyes and stuff, which is gone for the first time in a long time. My mind's not racing and jumping like it normally does. Like, I don't know if you've noticed by watching these videos, but I'm normally like, jumping from thing to thing. I'll be eating my first meal today. Like, this is the end of stage 1, and after this I'm moving on to soups for about a week. And I'm going to have my first soup, because at 4 o'clock it'll be officially 96 hours since I've eaten anything at all. So I get to have, it's not that exciting to a normal person, but for me, like, I get to eat chicken in a soup, like with courgettes and leeks, and like, man, when you haven't eaten for like 4 days, like, sounds pretty good. So I'm excited about that. We'll do this thing where we go, woo, and then it will shoot forward to the future in, like, it's 8 now, and it will shoot forward to 4 o'clock. Future. On the first day of Soupmas, my soup love gave to me.
Is this all this is?
One soupy soup. Soup. I decided to save the first mouthful for this video. It's the first thing I've eaten in 4 days. It's just like, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna blow my own trumpet, but I cooked it myself. It's like leek and courgette soup, all organic vegetables.
Seems pretty upbeat so far.
And I chose a really little spoon so that it lasts really long.
Wait, what did he sprinkle in?
Cheers. I chose a really little myself. It's like leek and courgette soup, all organic vegetables. And I chose a really little spoon so that it lasts
Must
really
been some
long.
crumbs or something on the side of the bowl.
Cheers. It's good food.
We're just gonna watch
So
him
yeah,
eat, I
it's
guess.
the end of day 4.
Imagine being able to build anything
Another ad.
just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Get in touch with Ethan Bear to whitelist you. That's what all the other Ren reactors do. Been at this for 3 years, and in his fan group with his team, sharing all this with us. We'll see. I probably should.
It's day 6 and I'm at my nan's, which is why I've got these lovely curtains. Today is the first bad day that I've had all week since I started this video. I guess it was sort of like quite naive of me to think that it
I'll
would just
pin
be
that for
plain
later.
sailing and I wouldn't feel like crap. It's just a bit disheartening because it's a new protocol, and what happens, for anybody that doesn't know, like when you wake up and it's a bad day or a good day, you'll hear a lot of people talk about bad days and good days with things like bipolar and ME, and I wake up and it feels like I haven't slept for about a month, and it feels like I just feel like an overwhelming sense of dread which just lasts all day, and my mind starts sort of shutting down a bit, and like, to tell the truth, I really didn't want to make a video. I really didn't want to make a video because I like the world to see the best part of me. Like when I started making this documentary, I was like, documentary, video diary, whatever, I was like, yeah, you can do this, man, you can just, it'll be fine. But I was in a good frame of mind then, and I'm in a bad frame of mind now, but I promised myself that I was just going to carry on and do it so that people can see. So, like days like today, I'll probably just be in bed all day, watching comedies, trying to make myself happy, trying to make myself feel okay and back on track again. Yeah. But yeah, so this is day 6. It's day 7. I haven't left bed since yesterday, apart from to get drinks or to go to the toilet. I promised myself over this whole thing though that I was just going to try and do mind over matter and just stay as positive as possible. So that's what I'm doing. On days like today, it's just like everything feels so like weak and tired, and like everything looks really bright. And the annoying thing is I can't pinpoint it down to something.
This
like,
is definitely before
I
he
suppose
finds
it's when
out
I
he
started
has
like
Lyme
adding
disease.
the soups back in, I started feeling really bad.
I'm assuming.
Which doesn't make sense because all I've been eating is courgettes, leeks, and
I
chickens,
mean, obviously,
and
right?
stuff that I wouldn't normally react to anyway. I don't know, it's weird, it's annoying that I've got to go through this process alone as well, that like there's no doctors. Like for over the past 5 years I've probably done,
His business
like, you
model
name it,
relies
I've
on
tried
YouTube
it to try and
reactors.
get better, like.
He actively encourages reactors to post reactions to his music. No idea how to get in touch with Ethan Bear. Wouldn't even know where to begin, to be honest. But I'll try.
Acupuncture, like therapy,
Probably an
CBT,
email somewhere, right?
Graded exercise therapy, rest therapy, like about a million supplements, and I've always got to I've always pinned so much hope on all these things, and then it's like 5 years, and then you just come back to the point of just feeling, you wake up and your whole body just feels like it wants to shut down. Anyway, this isn't positive thinking, is it? This is just me moaning. So it's day 7, so it's been a week. Part of me just because I've lost half a stone, I weighed myself this morning, so I'm underweight quite a bit. Moaning, stop it. The life is good, and I will get better. Anyway, it's the end of day 7.
Hey friends, Eric here, and in this video, I
More
want to talk to you
ads.
about how you can retire with just $300,000.
Song, one of his songs. Does anyone know? Of course I'm alive. No? Okay, yeah, I'm going to skip this one. If you guys don't mind. Or at least mute it. I'll just mute it. Chapters. Let me keep playing this though. But then my Facebook thumbnail would be wrong. Well, they're all separate videos though. Oh, okay, there's a playlist here. It's only 19 minutes long though. I guess I could play it. I don't know, let's see. Let me see here. Oh, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Hold the phone.
Hold the phone, please. Hold the phone, please. I'm just an elderly old.
See. A way to do a poll.
Can't figure out this on YouTube.
I do voices. I also sing. I was in a band once. There's no way to do polls. I know on Twitch you can do polls. I'll just ask you, who wants to see chapters, and who wants to continue with the Facebook? Put chapters in chat or Facebook. I know there's only like 8 or so of you watching.
Can't seem to find the polls. Timestamps? Oh, that's not what I'm looking for.
Once I get into it, I can't get out. I'm like a method actor. Once I started, I can't stop. More ads. Chapters, chapters, chapters. Everyone wants chapters. You know, if I do chapters, my thumbnail that I made is going to be incorrect. But I can fix it later, I guess. You know what I mean? See if I can find something good here. How's everyone doing today, by the way? Well, there's an entire video that's 16 minutes long. But that doesn't make sense. Those must be the, okay, let me. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, this is the playlist I want. Definitely. I will subscribe to it. Is this what you guys want? The hectic shopping, yeah. I hope my husband really likes the lotion that he already uses because he got the cologne to match nice. I'm sure he'll love it. I'm sure you could probably get him a bag of dog poop and he'll probably love it because it's from you. Chapters, please. Okay, fine. I'll do the chapters. Gee. All right. So obviously, chapters. Yeah, it is pretty long. 16 minutes, 22 minutes, 23 minutes, 12 minutes, 11 minutes. What is that? Is that Leonardo DiCaprio right here? No. I think it is. 12 minutes, 14. Okay. If this is what you guys want, then this is what you guys will get. Okay, so chapters. Starting now. Oh.
Hello, everyone. This is the first time I've done something like this before. I wanted to write it down because there's a lot and I didn't want to miss anything. And some parts of this might be a little bit uncomfortable to listen to, but I wanted to stay as true as possible to the story, not miss anything, for the sake of people who might be going through something similar, or for the sake of people who don't, but want to help understand a little bit more. Yeah. I promise that everything in this story is 100% true. Nothing is exaggerated for dramatic effect. Some names I don't mention and some details I don't go too far into or downplay them for the sake of the people around me. Timelines might occasionally be a little bit off, but that's just because I've had to write everything from memory from a time that was quite hazy. I asked before embarking on this journey with me that you all respect the privacy of myself and the people around me. You might be compelled to reach out to some of the people that I mention, cast judgment, praise them, criticize them, and I ask you kindly not to. It's my choice to be in the public eye, and it's mine alone. This is the first time my story is on the public record in a concise way. Being in the public eye is strange. The more that I give to you, the less that I get to keep for myself. I don't find the experience of sharing particularly enjoyable. I don't so much like the questions that follow. And I'm not a medical expert, so I don't like to be seen as somebody with all the answers, because I don't have them. And because of the empathy that I feel, I'm compelled to try and help as many people as possible. But the last time I opened myself up to this on a one-on-one basis, I was surrounded by a lot of death, and there simply weren't enough hours in the day. So I ask you, if you need support, please reach out to a professional or use my music as your companion. I share my story in hopes that somebody who needs it finds it, that it provides hope, that it might ease the suffering for the people like me. I like my solitude, so I ask that anyone who respects the work I make and respects my contribution to the world to respect my solitude. A lot happened in my teenage years, and I didn't live the most normal of lives, but I'll save that story for another time. The important thing to contextualize this story is that I was full of life. I was full of a burning desire to change the world. The flaws in how we interact seemed obvious to me. I believed in people's power to change the unnecessary suffering we inflict upon ourselves. I was also enamored with music. Music is the closest thing to God that I have. It's a gateway to the unexplainable, and it's a way of communicating the inexpressible. There's just one moment I want to share with you from the years before I got sick. I was 17 and I felt indestructible. I'm not sure why, but my whole life I had this feeling inside myself that I was meant to do something important, not for myself, not for praise, not for personal gain, but something that would change the world for the better. It's hard to describe it without coming across like an egomaniac or having some sort of God complex, but I felt like I had some sort of divine purpose. And I remember feeling this so strongly that one afternoon after school, I stood in the center of my bedroom and I spoke loud into an empty void. I said that I would single-handedly take on and defeat the forces of evil, and I welcomed them to try their best. Throughout the years, that memory stuck with me, taunting me sometimes. Flash forward to 2019. I remember the first day I knew something was wrong very well. I woke up in an unfamiliar room in Cardiff, feeling like a raven had perched itself upon my heart. Every time my heart beat, it's like some part of me was aware of the foreboding death sentence that was to come. Some sort of primal instinctive dread. Everything felt wrong, and I felt prosthetic, like I could tear my own skin off and observe though I was watching passively from another room. The night before, I'd been in Cardiff visiting friends in university. It was the end of summer, we'd gone out to a few bars. I wasn't really enjoying myself. That year I'd been struggling with social anxiety, perhaps from years of abusing my brain with a whole pick and mix and selection of party drugs. Engaging with society felt like stepping into the ring with a heavyweight champion. Every single fucking question felt like an oncoming haymaker I had to socially navigate because of my very limited toolkit of charisma at the time. I don't know why I cared about being liked so much, but the more I cared, the less equipped I became to have a simple human conversation. I used to deal with this by getting fucking hammered. That night was no exception. I got smashed, lost my phone, and woke up in a strange apartment. In the bed opposite mine was a snoring rugby player and his girlfriend.
Ads. Of course. That's okay.
Everything just seemed off, and it wasn't a hangover. My first thought was I'd been spiked. I quietly gathered all my belongings and left before anyone could wake up and punch me with a conversation. I wandered around the grey Cardiff in the haze, feeling like I've just been rigged up to an IV bag full of ketamine and cyanide, and the whole world just seemed off, like I was looking at it through a tunnel. A heavy feeling of fear clung around me like a straitjacket. The only comforting thought was that with enough time, rest and water, it would pass. But it didn't. For 8 long years, it didn't. And this is my story of an 8-year-long nightmare. I returned back to my dad's home. He was living with his partner at the time. It wasn't my home, so I already felt uncomfortable and out of place. These unusual symptoms persisted. I figured I'd caught some sort of virus and I'd get better with time. But by the end of the week, things were a lot worse. I took myself to the doctor and he said he thought it sounded viral, that if I went home and got enough rest, it would eventually pass. And it didn't. For 8 years, it didn't. I returned for my second year of university. My brain was full of fog and my body felt poisoned. There were intermittent days where I felt like a hollow suit of skin. I'd sit in lectures unable to focus and was devoid of any sort of personality. I'd be able to have basic conversations, yeses and nos, but I was stripped of the ability to think spontaneously. It's like my body was taking up so much processing power being sick that I could not have original or spontaneous thought. The most peculiar thing about this was there was a me that was aware that this was all happening and was observing it from outside of myself, locked out, screaming silently, banging on the walls of my mind to be let in, and never successfully. And nonetheless, there I was, like a ghost haunting myself. My usual routine was getting home, running a shower and curling up into a ball to cry underneath the running water, not understanding what was going on. I brought myself to the doctors numerous times during this period, requesting every blood test they'd let me have, often being dismissed and told things like stress from university can cause strange symptoms. But how come no one I knew in university could relate to this? Eventually I was put on a 6-month-long waiting list to see a mental health specialist who did a short 1-page questionnaire and wrongly diagnosed me as hypercycling bipolar and put me on a course of citalopram. After a few weeks it stole my ability to sleep. I was told to stick it out and it would level out and eventually I'd feel more like myself. I stuck it out and I got worse, and I pulled myself off it after 2 weeks in a row of sleepless nights and insomnia. There's something pretty peculiar about being told you're in some sort of spectrum of madness, even if you suspect that you're mad. Your diagnosis finds a way to claw itself into your identity, even if it doesn't belong to you. Ever since I was a child, I'd always be asking what and why and how things worked. I couldn't really accept things as they were without knowing how. I carried into my adult years, and so as the bipolar hammer crashed and sentenced itself into my reality, I began searching online for behaviours associated with it, people's first-hand experiences, what it felt like to be manic. In these earlier days of my illness, the symptoms would fluctuate in severity day by day. Some days I'd be in a thick, tired fog, and other days they'd be more merciful. I began to associate the days of not suffering as mania and would act more erratically on the days that my symptoms were less bothersome. I did things like climbing out of windows of a 6-story student accommodation or get so drunk I'd wake up outside of the university campus lawn. But it wasn't mania. I just wasn't hurting. I spent 1 day a week with my therapist, who was teaching me cognitive behavioural therapy. The issue was, mentally reframing unexplainable symptoms caused a lot of cognitive dissonance for me. I was told my anxiety or depression was causing my symptoms, but in reality it was my symptoms which were making me anxious and depressed. So I was in some sort of inescapable bind. I'd devotedly work on my mental health, following every new tool for coping to the letter, only to have my symptoms get worse, which made me frustrated, raise the intensity of my treatment, only to get even more frustrated as my body seemed to deteriorate. After 6 months, I told my mum I'd happily saw off my own leg with a blunt knife if it meant my symptoms would vanish, and I meant it. I told her if I had to live with this strange feeling for one more year, I'd kill myself. And I meant that too. But something happened that winter which showed me firsthand the horrors and the fallout from suicide. I met Joe when I was 9 years old. I remember the first time clearly. I was standing in his living room when he turned to me and he was like, "Watch this." Then he proceeded to climb on top of his sofa and did a front flip onto a stone living room floor. He landed on his back and lay motionless for a few seconds before grinning, getting up, and then doing it all over again. We grew up terrorising the streets of the small village we grew up in, playing knock door run or breaking into people's gardens to play on their trampolines. We stayed friends throughout high school, going through various phases together. Joe was comedian of the group. I remember countless mornings after messy all-nighters, Joe would be cracking endless jokes like a professional stand-up routine, and we'd all be in tears laughing.
Pretty intense.
Now I use Whisperflow. I just think out loud
ad.
and it creates perfect formatted text on any app or website.
When I started writing my first songs, Joe and Sega were the first people who always knew every word, and they would sing along at the top of their lungs. They gave me a lot of self-belief, and they helped me build the foundation of what I do today, and I owe them a lot for that. That Christmas, I came back home to Wales from university. On Christmas Eve, me and Joe were sat in a pub, and he turned to me, and he told me that he'd fantasized about walking into the sea until he was totally submerged. He had a pretty morbid sense of humour, so I didn't really take him as seriously as I should have. 2 days later, it's 3 a.m, and I get a phone call. It's my friend Ella. She tells me that Joe is on the bridge by my house. He was drunk, he'd called her up, and he told her he was going to jump. I was still half asleep. I fumbled, pulling on whatever clothes I could that were near, and I walked out of the front door, and the winter air stung my face, and it woke me up. Adrenaline kicked in, and I started sprinting towards the bridge. It was about a 5-minute walk, a 2.5-minute sprint. As I was running, I dialed Joe's number, and I get a busy tone, and I felt relief because it meant he was still alive. I kept hitting redial as I ran,
Thank you,
and as
Karen.
I got about halfway to the bridge, the busy tone changes.
I appreciate you.
I get an automated voice note saying the number's out of service, and my heart sunk. I got to the suspension bridge that connects Anglesey to the mainland, and it usually looks very beautiful. I sprint up and down the bridge yelling Joe's name, and there's silence, and it's deafening. And I peer over the bridge into the blackness, and the bridge sits about 100 feet above the water. Hitting cold water at that height is like smashing into concrete.
Yeah.
And the waters are notoriously dangerous because of the cross current. I hear nothing, no sounds, nothing. I run up and down the bridge about 2 times before I spot a figure at the end of it, and my heart jumps into my throat, and I run towards the figure, and it's my friend Ricky who's had the same call, and we both run around up and down the bridge and around the surrounding area looking for Joe. More of his friends eventually arrive, and there's nothing. I was about a minute too late. We spent the next week walking up and down beaches with flashlights, and when it's that dark, every other large rock starts to look like a washed up body. We plastered all the neighbouring towns in missing posters, contacting whoever we could, someone who might know something. We checked bank records to see if any money had been withdrawn since he went missing. There was CCTV footage of him walking onto the bridge, but there wasn't any of him coming off. But there were dead zones in the footage, so there was still a small chance he could be alive. I was sleeping about 3 hours a night, pretty determined that we'd still find him.
Wow, so his friend jumped off a free. That's why if you do have some sort of mental illness, you definitely seek some kind of help, comfort, preferably some professional help. Because seeking music, yeah, it will help a lot, but it might not do what a professional.
For about 10 days we had nothing, and then suddenly a call comes through while we're all at my friend Miles's house having food. It's the police. A body had been found in the water by the bridge. We piled into my friend's car. I remember being in the back seat in floods of tears, repetitively punching the back of the passenger seat as we drove to the scene. As we pull up, I saw a lifeless body being zipped up into a green bag near a parked ambulance. Its skin was bloated by the seawater, and it wasn't Joe. Someone else decided to jump that day. Joe was never found. It's difficult to truly let go when you can't say goodbye. For months following, I held on to this fantasy that we'd get a call that he'd run away to some European town, and he was happy.
What are the chances of 2 people jumping on the same day? That's crazy.
happy and he was healthy. But that call never came. The time during his inquest was also around the time I was struggling with the side effects of a new antidepressant. I remember sitting in the courtroom feeling like I was listening to the whole thing deep underwater. The judge felt the circumstances surrounding Joe's death didn't mean the judge felt that the circumstances surrounding Joe's death meant that the verdict was left open. It kind of stung even more to not have an official ruling of suicide. I remember going to visit his mum not long after and witnessing the aftermath of a mother grieving for her baby boy. The silence of his father, the tears of his mother. I decided that day that I'd have to wait until my illness killed me because I couldn't do it by choice. I couldn't put my family through that. Over the next 10 years, I returned to my hometown, only a handful of times following Joe's death. My last visit was in the summer of last year. I reconnected with Joe's parents and showed them a song that I'd written, simply entitled For Joe. We cried together, reminisced together, joked, and I'm proud to say that I gave Joe's mum enough money to afford a caravan she told me she'd been saving up for. That felt pretty good. We'd also do a fundraiser for the Royal National Lifeboat Institution, who were integral for searching for Joe during that time, and we raised a pretty good amount of money too. Being able to give back in whatever small way I could felt good, and it felt right for all the years Joe had made us all laugh till it hurt. He was a solid person, just a little lost, as we all are sometimes. And I miss him. Life was about to take an even more unusual turn, and I was about to meet the first angel of this story. So stay tuned for that.
I hope you guys are enjoying the ads, because I'm not. And I'm not about to pay for YouTube Premium. Intense. I was not expecting a music video. Or not a video, but a live performance. But I'm for. That's awesome. What was that called? What was that song called? I missed that part. And an ad. What is this? Dad Studio? I might download that. Just kidding, I'm not going to download that. It's a nice view. Where's this at? Is this in London that he's doing this? For Joe, that's right. I heard that too. See, I have the worst memory in the whole world. I wouldn't be surprised if I forget Ren's name by the end of this. Because listen, I'm going to be honest. I smoked a lot of weed when I was younger. Like a lot. Like so much where I don't have a memory anymore. Very bad memory, so I apologize for that. Augury. Oh, so Canada.
A year of living in the nightmarish purgatory does strange things to your psyche.
Okay, he was there for treatment. Gotcha.
I was still trying to push through university, but I found myself missing many lectures to stay in bed. I started noticing more unusual symptoms creeping in, a strange buzzing sensation in the soles of my feet. My vision started looking
for Joe and Freckled Angels. That's what I was going to guess. I was going to guess Freckled Angels. But then I saw... Wait, it has two... Which one's the name of the song? Is it For Joe or is it Freckled Angels? Oh, it's a mash of two songs. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Thank you for the info. Back it up.
A year of living in the nightmarish purgatory does strange things to your psyche. I was still trying to push through university, but I found myself missing many lectures to stay in bed. I started noticing more unusual symptoms creeping in, a strange buzzing sensation in the soles of my feet. My vision started looking like fuzzy television static, something that I later learned was called visual snow, something with no known origin.
I get
my
that
calf
sometimes.
muscles started constantly twitching and spasming. At any moment they wouldn't.
I get that sometimes, usually after I cough a lot.
Go longer than 20 seconds without twitching, and that can drive you a bit nuts. All these symptoms I still live with to this day. You just become very used to tolerating constant discomfort. It becomes kind of the norm and kind of becomes like an annoying, unsettling radio static in the background of existence. I stopped taking my antidepressants after having cycled many different kinds. None of them helped. All of them gave me some new kind of symptom or side effect, like insomnia, dry mouth, heart palpitations, no libido, etc. I spent a lot of my time alone, but in the moments of respite I'd hang out with friends. Musical telepathy, where we both knew what the other was going to play before it even happened. He was the first musician I've ever felt this kind of chemistry with. I became a kind of third wheel in his Momoko's relationship. With time, Momoko became like a sister to me. To this day, it's one of my favourite people on this spinning rock. Performing with Trick the Fox was one of the rare times that I felt free. There was something about the duty of having to entertain others that let me escape the physical limitations of my own sick body, even if just for a moment. I usually pay for it the next day with what can only be described as an energy hangover where I'd be stuck in bed all day, but for me that was worth it. Those days I was still fairly functional. It was around this time I started losing faith in the medical industry. The more appointments I'd go to, adamant that something was wrong, the more of a hypochondriac they treat me as. Medical gaslighting is a real thing with chronic illness. They chalk me down as someone who was always requesting blood tests, and my mental health diagnosis probably didn't help that. Strangely, they never tested me for any kind of pathogens. I decided to embark on a precarious journey into the Russian roulette chamber of Dr. Google. I would type in the most predominant symptom of the day, and Dr. Google would tell me that I have a rare disease and I'm probably going to die. With time, I sharpened my search engine axe and refined what I was looking for. I dived headfirst into the abyss of online support groups, hoping to find solace or answers amongst fellow sufferers. We were like crabs in a barrel. Very rarely someone would find their silver bullet and announce what it was that cured them. Hundreds of people would follow their protocol, some with mild success, but most of us will still remain trapped. I joined as many online support groups as I could. It was a bit like the beginning of Fight Club, except instead of faking conditions to feel accepted, I was desperately hoping I had those conditions so I could cure myself and get the fuck out. I convinced myself I had conditions like candida, magnesium deficiency, parasites, adrenal fatigue, heavy metal poisoning, etc. At the time, I felt like I was single-handedly keeping Jeff Bezos in business. While most students were spending their student loan on drinks, I'd spend mine on the supplement or protocol of the week. I'd follow whatever herbal or supplement protocol was suggested, sometimes noticing mild improvement and sometimes getting a lot worse, most of the time feeling nothing. A story would pop up on one of these groups like, after I did a 30-day parasite cleanse of wormwood, cloves and garlic, all my symptoms disappeared. I'd read a story like this, get full of hope and put myself through a grueling 30 days, which would often result in a worsening of symptoms.
Sorry
My
about
body
the ads.
felt even sicker and weaker, but I'd stick it out because I was told that this was a good sign. The parasites are dying. I peered into the toilet bowl and valiantly waved goodbye as I flushed their imaginary corpses into a watery abyss. At the end of the 30 days, I'd be left with a lighter wallet and all my symptoms still remaining. And if that didn't work, I'd move on to what was next. Maybe I have seasonal affective disorder. Alright, so I'd get on the internet, order a light, stare at it for 10 minutes a day, and to my big fucking surprise, still have all my symptoms. The only thing that light illuminated for me was that I was desperate enough to buy a glorified table lamp. I kid you not when I say that over the years I probably have taken nearly every dietary health supplement known to man. One of the most grueling self-treatment courses came when I did a round-the-clock heavy metal chelation. I would take a supplement called ALA and DMSA, which supposedly shuttled mercury molecules out of your body through a process called chelation. I would have to take the pill once every 3 hours around the clock, which meant setting multiple alarm clocks to wake up and take them. The supplements came with their own side effects. I remember one time standing in a supermarket and feeling like the sounds and lights were so bright that I couldn't even bear to be in there. I stuck with this protocol for a whole year with no luck. I was still coming to terms with the death of one of my best friends during this time too. I was too sick to hold down any kind of stable job, so I was mostly living off my student loan. Welsh students study in England also weirdly get given a small sum of money just for being Welsh, or almost like a "we're really sorry that you're Welsh" sort of condolence prize. I've always prided myself on my financial independence, so whenever I could, I'd get out on the streets of Bath and I'd busk. I remember the very first time I did. I had my guitar in hand, I perched myself on a
Maybe I should move to Wales. Get some money.
myself on my financial independence, so whenever I could, I'd get out on the streets of Bath and I'd busk. I remember the very first time I did. I had my guitar in hand. I perched myself on a bench, took a deep breath, and then bared my soul to the jury of the street. And it was exhilarating. People sometimes ask me what music means to me, and it means life. This was usually the one time I felt like I didn't want to die. This was the one time I could feel a resemblance of something that resembled spirit, that resembled my soul, that resembled me. I even found myself cracking jokes with onlookers, which for someone dripping with social anxiety at the time was huge for me. It was March, roughly 3 months after Joe had died, and I was sitting on a bench in Bath with my guitar singing into a busy street. And this is when I would meet the first angel of this story. I'd see 2 more angels years later, one in the guise of a homeless man, one a doctor cheating death in the Beverly Hills clinic, but that bit will come a little bit later. The angel was walking on the opposite side of the street with a mother. They both stopped to watch me for a moment. I saw her mum whisper something to her. The angel turned bright red and she giggled and they shyly approached. We got talking and the angel asked where I was from. I told her that I grew up in Wales in a small village that was once described in a local newspaper as being worse than an Iraqi war scene. I told them they would have never heard of it. They looked surprised and they said they had family there. I asked which part and it turned out to be the village that I grew up in. Since you can basically count a population of 2 intergenerationally bred mutated hands, I asked who they were, and it turned out that angel happened to be Joe's cousin. This encounter was always a foundational moment of serendipity in my life. In the years that followed, I took serendipitous occasions to mean I was in line with my purpose. Sometimes I felt like I'm following a script. It's just that I don't know the words or actions until they actually happen. But in moments of serendipity, I feel like they are playing out exactly as they were meant to. It was quite a bizarre moment for me, that hundreds of miles away by chance this angel would be related to my lost friend. Upon learning who I was, they invited me back to theirs for a cup of tea, and I accepted and I fell in love. It was really good tea. That week, the angel took me to a favourite botanical garden, and she pointed out a favourite flower. So that night, true story, I dressed in black, broke in by climbing over the fence, dug up the flower and presented it to her the next day. She called me insane, but it's safe to say that angel ended up being my first serious girlfriend.
These little like clips that he's showing, I have no idea what they are. Which, by the way, reminds me, if you're into TV show reactions, I do have another channel called Dirty and K. If you want to go and subscribe to that, that would be awesome. We only have 15 subscribers, just starting out, brand new. We only have 2 videos right now, but we're working on it. It's hard to find time to have both of us react. Anyways, sorry. Wanted to give my own little plug there.
It was a weird kind of relationship. We both shared an unusual trauma for people who were so young, brought together by a tragedy. Even though sometimes I feel like she might have hated me at the time, I was convinced like it was some sort of Shakespearean fate that had brought us together. A morbidity that birthed light, that it couldn't be anything else. It felt like divine intervention. She was pretty troubled in her own way, and I was very troubled in mine. But in between the sludge of dealing with the constant symptoms, it was beautiful. That summer, her parents took us to Centre Parks, which is a posher version of Butlins, if you don't know, where they paid for all the activities and meals, and they let me do whatever I wanted. Coming from a poorer family, I wasn't really used to being spoiled to that degree, but I figured I'd just roll with it. One morning while I was there, I got a call from my friend Sega, and he sounded pretty mixed up, so I asked him what was wrong. He told me that there was no easy way to say it, but one of my other best friends, Callum, had died. He'd gone cliff jumping in the same cliffs we used to jump off as kids. The sea was particularly choppy that day, and he caught a cross current and he started to drown. Another guy that he was with had jumped in an attempt to save him, and they both drowned.
When the doors closed last time, people went nuts. By popular demand, we are open.
The first day I met Callum, I was 11. He was in a year above me in high school and used to walk around with these massive baggy bright orange jeans. He hung around with all the goth kids and I thought they looked super cool. So the next day I painted my nails black and fashioned a necklace out of a severed extension cable from an old VCR machine. I infiltrated the group and I gained their trust. Not long after, me and Callum were friends, wandering around beautiful Welsh countryside looking for the most scenic places to smoke weed. We stayed friends throughout high school and I truly loved him. When Callum died, I couldn't properly grieve. I felt weirdly numb after losing Joe. I'd often feel guilty for my inability to cry at the time. A couple of years later, I'd learned another friend of mine that I used to play function gigs with had thrown himself off a cliff face in Dover. And again, I felt numb. I couldn't tell if this new acceptance of the inevitability of death was a beautifully liberating thing, or if it was a sign that my humanity was slipping away. To this day, death has kind of remained a bit of a matter-of-fact part of my life. During my years of sickness, I had to crawl through a morbid longing to be killed by my illness to find a more peaceful acceptance that death is just an inevitable consequence of life, and it doesn't spare anyone. That never left, and I haven't ever really been scared of dying since. Some days I've tempted it. What I'm more scared of is having to live my whole life as a sick person. In my relationship with death, the most healing moment occurred just 2 years ago. My grandmother, who I loved to pieces, was dying, but I actually got the chance to say goodbye this time, to hold her hand, to thank her for being alive. I remember not long before she passed, she was lying in the hospital bed, and she was very weak and very pale, barely able to open her eyes. I asked how she was, and it seemed like a stupid question as soon as it left my mouth. She paused for a long moment, and she turned her head to look at me, and she opened her eyes, and she smiled, and she said she felt happy. And it was just one word, happy, which was simple and it was beautifully profound. And that was one time I'd gotten a chance to say goodbye. And it was the first time that I hoped that one day I would die happy. The following year, I would achieve something beyond my wildest dreams, and then I would lose it almost as soon as it came. Stay tuned for that.
Very nice. Are they do they still ever jam together or anything like that? Are they what's going on with them? With God. Trick Fox Trick. God, I have the worst memory ever, I swear. Said it too at the beginning. Trick the Fox. I was close at least. Right. Anyways, time for another ad.
My therapist was scowling at my weekly anxiety and depression scores like a detective trying to crack a particularly stubborn case. There were no signs of improvement, and the scores followed no real measurable pattern that were consistent with bipolar. After nearly 2 years of talk therapy and taking enough medication...
What do you mean, well, poop? Did YouTube take my stream down? What's happening? Ah, damn. Okay.